OG, we OG. Oh no, G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to Olo, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to Olo. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Runes is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, is my guy for real, bro? Got French right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, lock it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nookies on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. Started Satoshi's nothing above me. Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. With Shizzy and Yagobi, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live from the Ordinal Hour, and it's going to be a great one, guys, because I got my man J25 back at us, second day in a row. Appreciate him so much, guys. If you're not following J25_done on Twitter, go follow him, man. He's a great follow. We got some amazing topics today. We have, obviously we got some funny stuff we're going to talk about, and then got China with a big announcement today, and obviously Glizzy. We're going to talk a lot about Glizzy today. And is Fractal going to zero? It's been down only. Is it going? We're going to find that out too. We got a lot going on. So without further ado, let's get this thing started. Bring my partner J25, man. Welcome back, my friend. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, and it's at J25_done, or did I say that wrong?
Just J25 done. Yep. Right, like J25 it's underneath on the screen, I think, for me.
Awesome. Oh yeah, it is. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So how's everything? How are you feeling today? What is your reaction just from all the insane news?
It's been just another day in the trenches, right? Like I feel like, especially when you're paying attention, you can kind of get overwhelmed with that. So it is sometimes good. I know obviously you have a show to do every single day, so you're wanting to bring that content and share it with everybody. But it is also good to remember that, like, the markets can do things and there's not always an explanation for it. So I like to soak it in, but I take everything as a grain of salt. And like the main thing I'm liking to see is volume starting to return, specifically to ordinals. Obviously, some runes are catching a bit as well. We're all playing around on Fractal, and shout out to anybody who used their pennies to mint things in the early days. They're worth much more generally. And yeah, Fractal is seeing some struggles, right? Miners are probably dumping. A lot of service fees were taken in the early days, including by Unisat. So I keep recommending people to use OKX, zero fees, marketplace, inscribing, whatever it may be. Find tools like that. If you're doing Cat 20, Fleur.gg, made by Harry from Ordinals Wallet, great tool. It is a little bit cumbersome to do, click. But, if you want that low fee, that's the way you go. If you want to go other places and pay a fee, then they have more services. And he's going to keep building that tool just like everybody is right now.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. All right, we'll get into all that stuff. But this is big news, man. So Sean Diddy Combs moved to the same jail unit as former CEO Sam Bankman-Fried. Are you worried for SBF?
Isn't he supposed to be getting out? Yeah. I haven't really been following it. It is crazy to see all of this stuff happening. I heard that Jay-Z and Beyonce are officially being investigated too. I don't know if that's true. I don't really follow that arena, but yeah.
Yeah.
Try and keep your nose clean out there. Make sure you pay your taxes. Don't be going to silly parties, and just meme about Glizzy, right?
Yeah, and nothing good happens after 12 p.m. or 12
Mhm.
a.m. Leave everything at 12 a.m.
Mhm.
Nothing good happens after 12 a.m. So
Yeah.
hopefully SBF is okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's not jail cellmates. But we'll keep that moving. So this is pretty big. China announces multiple rate cuts just after the Fed cuts rates. So this is not just U.S. anymore. This is
Yeah.
worldwide rate cuts. This is worldwide money going to be rushing in because now that bonds and stuff like that, because bonds and stuff like that, their interest rates are going to be cut. So they're going to go from 5% to 4%. China's
Yep.
even lower than that. So you're going to see money rushing into risk-on assets.
For sure. Yeah, I believe like the EU and Canada kind of foreshadowed this because just their meetings lined up a little bit different. I believe they started cutting rates a bit earlier. But this was anticipated. I think we talked about it a little bit yesterday that China has a much different system, not as transparent, not as many auditors, not as many checks, which has its downside with regulation, as we all know. But we saw a bunch of companies, kind of get pushed out of NASDAQ and the S&P because their accounting practices aren't the same here. So if you can't really trust the numbers that you're getting, you're right. I've been hearing about for almost 2 decades now this housing bubble like we had, but with China, over a billion population, much more money capitalized into it, a lot more loans in there. They've been patchworking this for a while, and they're probably going to continue to have to do that. So, as I expected, the rates cut coming. There's talk of money being actually given out to the masses. And at the end of the day, yeah, rates coming down means it's cheaper to borrow. So companies can put a new wing on their facility or start this new, different model that they wanted to try in a small aspect or whatever it may be. It just makes, getting money cheaper for companies.
Yeah, 100%. And they're able to, if they start like adding on to their businesses, which causes more work for other businesses, which money just kind of keeps building, which allows businesses to pay employees more, which allows them to invest more. And it's like a big
Yep.
system of just money coming in, right? And
Yeah.
I think that's we're
You have
kind of
to
like the
pay
last dribble.
Yeah, you
Is
have to
that?
pay less money to service your debt. That just like
Yeah.
simply put, right? Just like if you have a car payment or a house payment, if you get a lower rate, you pay less interest over time. Businesses that can add up a lot when you're getting into the millions, tens of millions, how many ever
Yeah.
dollars you're wanting to get to. And combined with that, the Fed and other places, as we've insinuated with China printing money and paying people, quantitative easing is going to be around the corner if it hasn't already started. So that means, printing money to buy assets. So I mean, everybody wants to say crypto is a Ponzi, this and that, but in my argument, and I've studied it a lot, the S&P is the greatest Ponzi of all time.
Oh, yeah,
It doesn't
easily.
go down. It literally doesn't go
They're,
down.
they're Every market is a Ponzi. People get in early are the people who are going to make the most, and people who got in yesterday are the people who are going to wait until it goes the other way, right? You need
Yeah,
more people to come in for your bags to get bigger. Like that's
yeah,
just
or more money, right? More money to change that
exactly.
price. Yeah, that bid
Yeah.
ask price. I mean, I got just a nerdy side note, but I was really into dark pools when I was in school for finance, and that was really like opened my eyes to a lot of different things. Like we think we have this open market where everybody's exchanging and everything's on NASDAQ floor or S&P, the New York Stock Exchange, etc. The vast majority of big trades happen over the counter in dark pools, and it's all undisclosed until a certain time when they have to report it or things like that, and they probably stagger it to get a better price or whatever their contract says. But that's not a fully transparent market. There's these huge players that are shifting markets without us even knowing.
Wow. I didn't even know about that. Dark
Yeah,
pools. I
yeah,
got to
look
look
into
into that.
dark
That's
pools. Like if
interesting.
you even ask ChatGPT, it can't even estimate it because there's just no data on it.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
scary.
Mhm.
Well, speaking of scary, Satoshi Era Bitcoin wallet holding $77 million in Bitcoin just moved 5 Bitcoin, mined in 2009. The
Mhm.
owner of the wallet hodled from 0 to 63,000. So I always thought, obviously Satoshi mined for the Satoshi wallet. We all know that wallet, but he
Mhm.
obviously mined for himself, right? So, and this is 2009. There was probably like 100 miners max that mine these
Yeah.
tokens. But as you can see here, it's just 2 transactions really. But he moved 5 Bitcoin out of the wallet, and yeah. So what do you think? There is still another 1,215
Yeah.
Bitcoin sitting in this wallet,
He's
minus
still holding
500. So
strong, but hey, he's been a strong soldier. He should definitely reap some benefits and take a little profit there. But yeah, I mean, I think we'll see more of this. It could easily be somebody that like moved and it was tucked in a box and they miraculously found it and considered it
yeah,
lost, honestly. So, I think we will see some of these, but it's nice to see that maybe, hopefully most of that stays there for now. But, it is just, I mean, it's $77 million is a crap load of money. Don't get me wrong. But when
yeah.
the grand scheme things in a 1.2, whatever it is, $1 trillion asset, it's not the same as like Satoshi waking up. But yeah, I mean, I think we'll see a few people that just had really good cold storage practices, even, or like I said, maybe they just found it, and good for
Yeah.
them.
And obviously, a lot of these guys probably had a lot of wallets back then. 1,215 Bitcoin was probably just like, maybe like
It was,
$1,000, right? Or
yeah,
if that,
even
right? So it was
less.
like
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah, maybe even less. It was especially 2009. So he
Hmm.
probably kind of ran through his other wallets, and now he's like, I gotta go. I gotta buy this. I gotta pay my mortgage on my
Right.
mansion or something. I need to get
Yeah.
this money out of here. So maybe that sets him up for the year. Maybe he just sells 5 Bitcoin a year or something. So who
Hmm.
knows? But that would be a great life if you just
Yeah. Oh
for
yeah.
sure,
No,
for
there's a
sure.
poker player that has a party every year. Hooney, he actually won a bracelet this last year. I just know him through friends or whatever. But yeah, he's the lore is that he's a Bitcoin mining whale from way back in the day and was in there like in the first month and just
Wow.
right time, right place, right people to be around. So shout out to them. That's why Bitcoin whales are what we all talk about, because they were willing to hold through all of this time.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, it may be why the chain doesn't move forward like we all kind of hope and wish, but it also is the chain with the most security, the most sound money. So, you take those trade offs. And that's why we all are degening on Fractal right now to see what we
Yeah.
can do in a different way.
Hey, just like this guy, the earlier you get into something, the better off
Mhm.
you are, right? And I think that's why we're kind of all on Fractal, because it's new, it's exciting, it's different. I mean, it's different, but it's kind of like that meme, same, but different. That's kind of
Mhm.
what Fractal is, right? So,
Yep.
uh, all right, $4.5 billion Bitwise CCIO says the most powerful people in finance are allocating to Bitcoin and crypto. So not just businesses, but the actual people themselves. This is I thought I was kind of like, wow, like this guy is actually like kind of whistleblowing on a lot of these big guys now that are buying Bitcoin.
Mhm. Yeah, like we've heard Jamie Dimon for years, like Bitcoin's a scam, blah 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 blah, and then also praise blockchain technology, their biggest user, right? They obviously own some. Just kind of like the analogy we had, right? This is a double-edged sword, right? This
Yeah,
gets very far away from the cypherpunk, you know, future that Bitcoin was supposed to bringing it back to the people. But at the end of the day, maybe this is where we let them buy our bags, and then there's the new chain, right? That's kind of how things did start, where there was Litecoin and Doge and all these different UTXO models. So that's another reason why, just as a nerd, right, price will do whatever it does. But I think that building with UTXO models is a great lead in to trying to make Bitcoin better, or make Bitcoin adjacent things better, in just a DeFi sense. Not that Bitcoin is bad. Obviously, we're all in it and holding. But yeah, the opportunities of Cat 20s, maybe it's 3 months, maybe it's 3 years, who knows, maybe it's never. So that's just a speculation that we'll have to deal with. But yeah, a lot of the older UTXO models have just done their thing. Doge isn't really being developed. Litecoin's founder dumped on everybody's heads and walked away. Cardano, kind of similar thing, has a main person that either people love him or hate him. You can Craig Wright, BSV. So I think that's been a problem for a lot of those chains. And Unisat, love them or hate them or whatever, that they're pretty quiet and they just build. So you don't have to partake, you don't have to use it, but they're going to continue to do products. So I want to be a part of that. And I've been on the timeline and called it, like, I think this is the Binance Bitcoin, and I think this is a Bitcoin centric play. And last cycle they did Binance Chain, and I think they're doing it again.
yeah, yeah. I think you're right. I think they're just doing it on Bitcoin, and they found the right partner because they don't want to have to put their name on it yet. So,
Mhm.
100%. So last Bitcoin stuff. So 321 million in crypto inflows after US Fed 0.5 rate cut. The market is reacting fast. Is this the start of a new rally? So 321 million has entered the crypto area where there isn't ETFs, right? This is pretty
Mhm.
big. It's a lot of money coming in, rushing in to get these risk on assets, first mover advantage type style. Do you think this is the beginning of a new rally?
I mean, the timing makes sense as we talked about yesterday. Ideally, yeah, I think the volume coming back, right? People coming back from the summer, it just like seems like all of these dominoes are really starting to line up. So yeah, I'm ready for Shizzy season. I'll probably take profits a little bit before 700K, but I do have some just long term bags that like I don't even consider mine.
I'm telling you what's going to happen, man. We're going to get to like 400K and everyone's mindset's going to change. They're going to be like,
Mhm.
I didn't even think this was possible.
Yeah,
What's next? And it's bullish. That's when grandmom's going to enter for 400 or 500. Everyone's going to be like, million. Oh, no, that's not bullish enough. 2 million. And
yeah,
then you're going to see 700K. And then that's going to be the top, in my opinion.
yeah.
But we'll see.
And don't like beat yourself up. There was a great talk in the Benji space today, right? Like some guy had hit 1,000x, $150 into 15K. You know what I mean? Like go take 25%
Yeah.
and de-risk yourself. You know what I mean? Lock up some assets. So even if it does just instant, especially it was a Solana coin, right? I don't think Bitcoin is going to zero, but we could see $10,000 candles, 20,000 higher candles, especially if we're getting into those 6-figure numbers. And if you really have money on the table that's going to improve your life, just take it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I need to be better about that. I know you've been great about that and stuff like that. So it was honestly like I think you around Christmas just saying like, hey, I went and got my family some stuff like
Yeah.
that. And it just made me be like, okay, I'm gonna start, trying to have a plan of like take 10% and pay myself from time to time.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I do right now, right? Because like obviously I'm not working, right? We get some
Mhm.
money from partners and stuff like that. But like I've been pulling $1,000 a week out. I've been paying myself
Yeah.
through my crypto funds. I made a lot of money in January, February, and March, and it's sitting there in Bitcoin. So I just send $1,000 in Bitcoin to Cash App, and every all right, I get the mortgage just this month. Let me just keep my bank
Right.
account floating, right? So I definitely been paying myself. So, but I will continue to, as we make more money and as things go higher, I could make that, maybe that'll be $2,000 a week or
Mhm.
$3,000 a week, depending on how big that gets and depending on what my bank account looks like. Right? Obviously, every time I sell something in the cash, that's a taxable event, right? So
Yeah.
that comes to my mind as well. So,
Right.
all right, all right. Bitcoin fear and greed. So many damn tabs open. Let me find
I
that
think
thing.
it was 50 yesterday, if I remember
Yeah, here
correctly.
we go. Yeah, so last week, so a week from today was a 33. Yesterday was a 50. Where do you think we are today? We're a little bit more bullish. I'll give you that hint.
Okay. 52.
Dude, you're almost dead on 54. That's
Okay.
perfect. That's like dead on. So yeah, so 54, but it's so weird because like 3 weeks ago, we were all over the place. We were
Oh my
22,
gosh. Yeah.
36, 24,
There was like a
49.
55 to like a 25 day or something, or a couple
It
days,
was
whatever.
nuts.
Yeah.
But I do
Yeah,
like how
I'm not
we're
huge on like I
trending.
enjoy this as like a sentiment indicator, but I think
Me too.
that's,
Yeah.
it's probably lagging. It's probably a little bit off, like a poll will be, or other, it's just a snapshot in time. And you shouldn't really be, I would say, trading on this, but using it as a piece of information to add to your whole view, right?
Yeah, it's just kind of for me, it's really when I go very risk on. I see this thing at 80, 90%. That's when I'm taking chances that I'm not going to take at 40, 50. That's how I see
Hmm.
this chart, right?
That's a
When I'm
great
looking at
point.
something and I'm like, I don't know if I should buy that. That changes how this chart looks. That's the
Yeah.
only reason why we show it every day, because it's kind of like when you see this thing 90 to 100 every single day, it's risk on. And
Hmm.
then, when when it gets back to 80, maybe you take a little risk off, so.
Agreed, totally. Yeah, that's kind of like I'm trying to shift into another gear because even though I'm in this space and I'm definitely a DJ, have a poker background, been gambling for a very long time, I'm very big on risk management and bankroll management. I've seen so many people win millions of dollars, whether it be crypto, poker, this or that, and have not a penny to their name. So I will never be one of those people, hopefully. And I also have to get myself out of being so conservative and have, say these funds, well, just like I have done with trading accounts on leverage and things like that. Like I need to have some accounts that it's okay if I light it on fire. It's not the end of the world. Have it be an
Mhm.
amount you're comfortable with, $20, $50, $100. If you have more size, great. But just have that separated from your normal funds And then if it happens, don't get emotional. That's really what happens. And it happens to me too with leverage trading. Like that's something I'm newer at. And you just are like, no, this is going to happen. And you got to dive back in there. Not making a trade is a position too. And so that's something that you can always, fall back on is I just need to step away and I can go do something else, maybe do some research, go spend some time with the family, just get outside, whatever it may be to help you come back the next time and make a better decision.
See, I go the opposite of that, man. I get deeper in Twitter rabbit holes when things are bad. I remember the 1 week, dude. I lost like a crap load of money. Like I think it was runes and thing just dropped. I spent like 6 hours trying to like find something that I could make it all back on. Right?
Yeah, in one
Now,
trade.
obviously, I don't think I found it, but like I that's good advice that I kind of need to take too. I get like when I'm making money, I can go outside, I can go do things, right? When I'm losing money, I'm glued, man. Any second away from my computer, I feel like I'm wasting time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got to break that.
It's a balancing act for sure. And having some rules that you stick to, especially with trading, overall, and I'm bad about this. I mean, I think I mentioned it yesterday. I could have easily had like 5 to 10 X's in 3 different things this week. And I didn't just like take the profits because I am not the best like short-term scalper trader. And that's why I've been focusing on it for over a year with leverage and things like that. So I'm breaking my own rules, right? But each time I break them and I can call myself on them, my rules get stronger in the future and I'm more open to that. It doesn't mean that I'm, just like bearish on something or this or that. There's opportunities to make a swing trade and come back in and get 2, 3, 4 of those items and still have profit left over. So just being more comfortable with that for a lot of people, it can make prices a little more erratic, and that's fine. I mean, volatility is what traders want to see because you want short-term, mid-term, and long-term traders involved in any token project, etc.
100% agree. 100%. And taking profits is always a good thing, even though it is hard. Like for me, it's easier to take an L than it is to take profit sometimes. You know what I mean? It's hard
because you're always thinking of the upside. But
that
was why I wanted to do that
bullish.
scenario. Like, they're talking about in the Benji space, right? Okay, so this token's at 40, 50, 60 mil or something. I mean, realistically, okay, maybe it runs to $1 billion, but it's a random soul shitter, not likely. So maybe you get a 2x, maybe even a 3 or 4x more. Okay, but how much is that going to hurt if you sell off 25, a third of your token allotment you have, right? And then if it, tanks 50%, you're going to be way more mad that you're selling everything instead of that 25% you could have earlier. So that's, just like you want to DCA in on the lows, you want to DCA out into the volume. And just lock it up, right? If you take that money out, you're guaranteed a winner. And yes, the psychology is different. The up and down of the not booked, realized gains can get to you, but that, that's the game too, is forcing yourself to take those rules and implement them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I will jump into the Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by the great people at BitPerp. BitPerp is going to be one of the leading leverage exchanges in Bitcoin, in my opinion. These guys are building not only for leverage on Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff like that, but they're also building for runes and potentially from Fractal tokens. You'll be able to take leverage on Cat, leverage on pretty much anything you want. They're going to degen the crap out of this. They're going to be one of the only people to really do it. It's leverage trading, like he said. It could be very fun, but it can be very, very, it can make you rich and it can make you poor, right? Just like anything else. It's completely gambling market. Guys, check out bitperp.io. Like I said before, they will have paper trading, which is, a great way to get started. And you're not just doing it out of nowhere. You're kind of doing it for points, right? You're not doing it you're actually doing it for a reason. So you'll be earning the BitPerp token, which is, to my opinion, is going to be a really good token. A lot of the leverage trading platforms tokens are the best. A lot of people are waiting for the Surf airdrop. And I think that, BitPerp could actually be bigger because of the timing of when the airdrop could possibly be. Could be like around December when things are really picking up. So it's something you really want to look at. You want to get as many points as possible. So when this is ready, we will let you know. And we're going to do we'll do some contests over here, like beat Yagobi or something like that. And we'll do contests.
Be cool.
But yeah.
Do you know what token standard they're doing, or is that not out yet?
So originally it was supposed to be a rune, but I'm not 100% sure. So
I was just curious.
Yeah.
Just so much happening, right? Like,
Yeah.
I even talked about
And
this just with the cat 20s, right? Like, hey, should you wait and do a cat 20? And like pretty much everybody we talked to is like, get to market, whatever it is, like
yeah,
get to market and just be opening to pivoting. So even if it is a rune, like, you know, I think there's going to see more, especially with the swap eventually, that you're going to have rune and BRC20 pairings, like dog and
yeah.
Ordi make perfect sense.
That's what I like to do. Like I don't want to put like right now FB and Kitty Cash. I want to do Kitty Cash and Cat, right? Like I want to do
Mhm.
like stuff that's actually like really degen with
Two
each other.
speculative coins that really can run with each
Exactly.
other. Yeah.
I don't want to sell into the other one constantly, right? So I have
Yeah.
them both for a reason. So that's kind
Right.
of what I like. But you'll be able to do that as well. You'll be able to come here and you'll be able to put two coins up, against each other and stuff like that. So you'll be able to trade. So look out for bitperp.io. But look, it's looking like Bitcoin sitting at 63,167.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the price action today? Kind of really sideways for hours and hours and hours at this point.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely choppy. We're seeing those big wicks, right? There was a big one today. I got in at a pretty good entry near that bottom, and it just wicked right back down. But that's fine. You know, I usually move my stop up, take my like 3 to 5%, free roll essentially. I've been really focusing on limit orders. So a lot of sites, if you're willing to do limit orders, you're a maker rather than a taker, and maker fees are zero some places or much lower than the just jumping into the market and taking the price as it is. But yeah, I think we're just in this chop period. We're waiting for some more money flows. I'm very hesitant to like kind of go all in crazy because I think that there will be another whipsaw. You see it do it on a micro scale all the time,
Yeah.
and it's an easy way for, especially when a lot of money's tied up in leverage, to hit a bunch of people's stops and then rip up towards the next liquidity level.
Yep.
So that's kind of what I expect, but I'm still, on a regular basis, putting in a trade early in the morning, trying to front run the market, sometimes even in the evening, like Sunday nights or the night before, where I think some action may be, and putting my stop loss where I'm comfortable with losing that money in the trade, or luckily it goes up and I can put it at a good spot. But that's also an art too, right? Like you can be too aggressive with your stop, and I've done that a lot of times where it just barely nicks you and then it runs. So that's why doing the reps and practicing whatever you're doing, whether it be spot, leverage, pictures, etc., just making assessments, keep doing it. And you can do paper trading like this contest you guys are going to do. It's a
Yeah.
great way to just get the feel of a website. Think of it like testnet. I use TradingView to set up most of my things just because I don't want the glitchiness of a website and all the random price action on the side. I just want to be able to watch a screen, think to myself, draw some lines, triangles, whatever, fibs I'm doing that day, and go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
But I mean,
that's
it's got
great.
that
Great way to
great
do it. Too.
channel, yeah.
But yeah,
I know
it looks like
Plan
it's
B.
coming back up,
Yeah,
right?
I know
So
Plan B is like right in that sweet spot where you've been checking that in the past. So
yeah, I mean, we're about to enter. In his opinion, we're about to enter the banana zone. But like his he's 13 months away from the high, right? That's what he's
mhm,
saying. So
mhm.
we could just go sideways, and then Bitcoin, we can have 1 month like we did December of 2020, where we
Yeah,
go from what 7,000 to 19,000. Right. And
yeah,
then in January, we went from 19,000 to 40,000. And February, same thing. It was like,
mhm.
then we dipped
I've seen the
from 40,000
comparison
back
of
to
each
30.
cycle
Yeah.
charts and stuff. Everybody's like, "We're almost there, guys. We're almost there." And if you even look at this chop, right? Like it went
Yeah.
up, it came down, and then it went back up, put a lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. This is the first higher low
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
had. So I'm not huge on this, but I know a lot of people watch that pattern. Maybe it's an inverted head and shoulders, maybe it's more chop. But I really want to see either, maybe it breaks out here, but I want to see it like dive down a little bit and not touch that like last low. So whatever, 52K ish, say we
Yeah.
put our next low in at like 54, 55. That's when I'm really like, okay, I'm for sure going to be risk on. Yeah, maybe that shakeout comes and they're able to wick down really hard. But, I think eventually this channel will have a change in direction one way or another. And ideally, we all catch it the right way.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? This from here to here is exactly the same size as from here to here. So we basically like we the same time frame of as we with the basically the bull market, right? This is the bull market from
Mhm.
here. You could say from here to here, and it's like the same time frame as here to here. It's pretty wild that we've been just this sideways for this long.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and there was more price action last time. Maybe it's there's definitely buy pressure at those levels. So that's another thing that I've learned over the last year, right? When resistance then becomes support, that's another bullish indicator, right? So we've been tapping on previous resistance, and ideally that resistance then becomes the support and then pushes us up as the buy pressure comes in.
100%. All right, jumping to the roll call here. Let's see who's here. And first is first means a lot on the show. And it looks like Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo. He loves me and I love you. Let's fucking go. Mr. Hanky at LFG. And we got Green Man, DGen Time. Mike's World is here. Yasher, one of our mods. Appreciate Yasher, man. Always helping us out. Chief Axel is here. Lackey, Lukey, Bit Renz, Shizzy, Glizzy, what's up? Webdro is here, almost done, 71. PJNZ is here, Ordinals tweets and Ordinal chips back to back, as always, the twins. Mempool Punk is here, Reziac, D-Love is here, Steamy J, John's in the building. Shizzy loves Costco Glizzy. Dude, I gotta say, $1.50 for a Glizzy and a soda is amazing.
It's like 650 billion market cap. Not too bad.
Not bad at all. Dream Baked is here. SPI, Chain Watcher. No. GM Kings and Queens. Patty Poo is here. The Bitcoin machine himself. Choda is here. Zahid is in the building. I Walk Alone. Bebe. Hey, you doing? I think your first time here. Thank you so much for stopping in. Glasshoppers here. Stewie Sats. No FOMO. Kitty Gone Shine. I hope so. Then we got Itatoshi, my man. Let's see, Cheaty's in the building. Simon Puick is here. I think your first time making roll call, Simon. Thank you so much. And then Danny says, "What's up? Got a new phone. My YouTube pick hasn't been working, so I haven't been able to watch so much." Well, I'm glad. Thank you, Danny. Another one of our mods here. It's our guy. And we got it. How about Glizzy? We have, dude, the East seems to be really in Glizzy, man. That's absolutely special.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted to see, right? That was our thesis last fall, is we want to follow the Asian liquidity with BRC20s, and they're connected to it, whether it's bag bias, BSVers moving with Unisat to the main chain and then Fractal. I don't know, but I'm going to continue to follow what the East does and be aware of what's going on in the West.
Yeah, awesome. Mike Bennett is here. Nocturnal. Fonzie from Ordinal Hive. Shout out to Fonzie. Made a YouTube account so I can GM. Fonzie, first time, made roll call. Shout out to Fonzie, man. And then Superfan, our guy, sliding into the roll call last minute. Shout out to Superfan. He's building a DMT project called Heroes. It looks really amazing. So check out that. And then Mark from Launch Punks. The Tap ecosystem is here. Shout out to Launch Punks and Mark. But that is the roll call for today. All right. Let's kind of get into some topics here, but you guys been waiting for. All right, Jay. Is Fractal Bitcoin going to zero? We've been down only since $40. We're now at around, I want to say, $12. How do you feel about the Fractal price action right now? I actually have a chart right here.
Lower. I mean, I was honestly surprised at the early pump, right? I didn't expect, this free airdrop, et cetera, to move up that way. So we still haven't broken below like where it initially started, which is a made up price at the end of the day. So I think that's for sure possible. But like I'm watching it on the daily, and the last 2 days we've gotten to this like 1250-ish range, and it's been bought up pretty heavily. So there's like a good little wick today. It's dipped down again, so I'll be watching that. I think it can break below that $10 level. I think that's okay. I've been comparing this to like Ordi or Sui or Say, if you want to take other L2s, Bitcoin adjacent ones, right? Like they see that initial pump and then they level off and there's consolidation. But when you look back in a year, this right here that looks really ugly is a blip in the chart, right? Because if you're talking about Ordi hitting 80, you didn't care about the 20 cents to $2, right? You could still get in for $2 for the entire summer and then still make like a 40x. So yeah, it's not ideal if you got it at the top, right? I haven't bought in anything. I've just been using my free airdrop to mint cheap stuff and try and stack up Fractal over the longer term. And eventually, like if it drops below 10, I might be a buyer, or maybe I turn on my mining rig again and eat the cost that way, or whatever it may be. But yeah, I mean, it's a week or two old. There's a lot more to come, and unlike the main chain, right? Like there is a centralized player that can improve the chain. They come from a BSV past, so I
Yeah.
think that like block size is on the table. I think a lot of opportunities to build really unique things are on the table. So I think that there's going to be activity here, and the price action will be what it is. I posted yesterday that BNB chart, right? And if you go back and really zoom in, there's similar stuff that like this. But if you look at the full chart, it's just a blip compared to
Yeah.
the entire run. You know, $1 to 150, everybody was probably going crazy back in the day for BNB, and now it's almost trading at $600. So yeah,
Yeah.
that is a whole cycle to work through, and that's a longer term play. So plan accordingly. But I don't think it's going to fully go to zero unless the chain just kind of collapses and breaks. Maybe the hash rate completely goes away. The incentives are really in the right place, good partnerships, etc. And Unisat's going to continue to deliver. So at least for the next 3 to 6 months, I think we have a pretty good runway, and then we'll go from there. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, it's not even on any exchanges yet, right? I mean, it's
Mhm.
the only place where I know to buy it is CoinEx, and I didn't know what CoinEx was a month ago, right? So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where I've been obviously buying from DotSwap, but it's expensive to buy from DotSwap. I think it's like 1 or 2%. So if I buy
Yeah.
$1,000 worth, I got to give DotSwap, it's like, oh, 20 bucks for the transaction, which
Hmm.
is wild, So for me, it's like, you call it the right now that the miners are pretty much dumping on CoinEx. They're just kind of sending in there, and this is the CoinEx chart at the end of the
Hmm.
day. So it's just the only place but there's no you won't people aren't making CoinEx accounts, right? They're waiting for it to be put on OKX. They're waiting for it to be
Hmm.
put on Gate.io. They're waiting for MEXC. And I
Yeah.
think that's when you're gonna start seeing some upward movement. Right now, it's just miners taking
The
profit.
sell pressure doesn't have a bottleneck right now, right? Because the
Yeah,
people that want to sell are sophisticated enough traders to go wherever they need to sell. The
exactly.
buyers have a huge bottleneck right now because either they're not comfortable with these fledgling sexes, or they have to use a not so great book at dot swap, and liquidity is crunched because a lot of the supply
Yeah,
is not out there, whatever it may be. I've heard in my DMs from several people like waiting a while to get it from wherever they're trying. Hey, where do I get this? So I think there are
yeah,
people that are interested in it and want to interact some more, but there is definitely, a bottleneck. And we're going to see just this crazy volatility, and the eyes are really on the majors right now. And we all know kind of the cycles it goes through, right? The majors, then some of that money flows into the alts, and then you have your different narratives, whether it's other L1 plays, DPIN, real world assets, AI, whatever it may be. It can change up a little bit. But I mean, I don't hope you bought it over $30, but I think if you're willing to multiply your fractal bag over the next period of time, you'll be happier in the longer term.
yeah. And I'm when I buy Fractal, I don't buy it for an investment. I buy it so I can use it, right?
Hmm.
I only have enough to where I have like 100 in like a wallet that I'm kind of saving. Then I have like 30 that I'm waiting for the next mint for. And then
Yeah.
once that 30's gone, I'll grab more from there. And then once that 100 is gone, I'll start refilling
Yeah.
it, right? And so I'm only buying it as a tool to do these mints, whether they're Cat 20s or BRC 20s, and eventually Cat 721s. And
Hmm.
so I mean, if you're using it that way, if you're using it as a tool to get these assets that are on chain that will eventually 10, 100x, 1000x, and I think that's really smart. But buying this as an investment, I think that's when because right now it's costing the miners $5 to mine these apparently. So their
Hmm.
miners are still making money. So until this gets
Hmm.
down to like $8 to $5, that's when I see this being an actual investment.
Yeah, for sure. And even with the price going on, right? Like the price can only go down in a ratio of 100%. So if it goes down
Yeah,
50%, 80%, etc., and you can 10 plus X, you can then buy back into Fractal and have multiples of it and then play that price game too.
yeah,
So yeah, it's there is back and forth. This is crypto, brand new chain, brand new things going on. But something we mentioned yesterday, pizza swap's going to open up, and 20 plus $1 million of
yes,
liquidity is going to start flowing around. A lot of new pairings with FB are going to get locked up, right? So the buy pressure can easily come once more things open up in those manners. Other swap or not swaps, bridges, we mentioned Bool yesterday, right? So
yep,
things like that are just going to be continually, and they're not rushing it, right? They're taking their time, they're testing it on testnet, they're pushing it out, they're setting block heights, then they're pushing it out. So I'm okay with that. Like I think that is the biggest signal that they're not going to rush anything. This can be a slower cook. Yes, there can be gains made, and we're all excited about getting in early, but I'm prepared for this to be a next cycle where I fully get out. I hope that we see a great one and I can sell and think about coming back in later, but it just might be, good timing, but not great timing considering there's more established assets that can do more, like a Say or like another L1 that people are bullish on, etc.
Yeah, 100%. But does this not look like a glizzy to you? It kind of looks like a glizzy, right? So
It looks like a
speaking of
cliff.
glizzy,
Yeah.
speaking of glizzy, the hedge against Fractal. So holding glizzy has been, if Fractal goes down $2, glizzy is up, 20 cents. So it's like it's the ultimate hedge right now. And I got this from the topic that you said in OSD this morning, and I was like, I'm gonna add that to the show. But do you think glizzy is a hedge against Fractal's price action?
It's definitely got, the East behind it. They're excited about it. People changing names, making accounts, whatever, AI images all over the place. So it goes with this food narrative, right? So we don't speak the same language. We have to use simple terms. And glizzy is even on the edge, right? Like Burger went, and we have honk and all the other animals that went last time. So the food narrative is a repeat of B&B again, right? You had Pancake Swap where cake was their token, and other ones that were around animals and food. So because we have this disconnect, we can't have these more complicated memes unless they're really, really baked into like the subculture of the world. And I think now, because most people in the East are aware of Western rap, and that has always crossed over. Like glizzy is a term that's come up, and maybe not every single person knows it, but if you're on TikTok, you're on social media, you've probably heard the term and looked it up and been like, oh, it's a slang term for hot dog, right? And we did ask a couple of people that speak English as well, so they're more accustomed to it. But like, hey, do you know what a glizzy is? And they're like, oh yeah, it's a hot dog. So it's like it maybe not for everybody, but it's something that's close enough to get there, right? And then the tokenomics were good. People are on chain just looking at things, and once you get all those transactions going, it doesn't even matter what the name is, right? Like for example, the Cat 20 pizza one I was mentioning yesterday, somebody from Asia sent a DM to somebody, and I minted some yesterday. I'm going to mint some more today before it closes out, and ideally tomorrow, because I'm not going to fade a hint that they're going to give me to be helpful.
Yeah, 100%. I only about glizzy too. It's funny. Something like bull or like a $1 billion cat. It's just not funny. Glizzy. I mean, I think this has brought up the sales of hot dogs around the world, because I don't normally buy hot dogs, but I was in a supermarket and I was like, let me get a pack of glizzies just for the culture, right? So,
Right.
But yeah. But
no, it's been fun to
Gate.io.
watch and everything. Yeah. The Gate.io. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it has. It's been really fun. It's been actually exciting again. It's been really boring before this, right? I mean, last week was, it was hard to get through. Week before that was even harder. Week before that was even harder. So it actually is fun. I know people are like, oh, you guys are just talking about Fractal, but I mean, what can we talk about right now besides the stuff that we're actually doing, right? So
yeah, I mean, there's been a couple things with runes, like smaller ones, some projects building around them. Shout out to the Taproot Wizards and launching things. So there's even unique things on L1, and glad that projects are seeing bids and everything like that. But this is, an opportunity, like I've said, for the longer term to get in on the ground level. Very low risk, right? For fractions of a penny, you can do 1,000 tokens that someday could be worth $1, $2, $10. You just don't know. And many of them will also be zero.
Yeah, 100%. So Gate.io, they listed glizzy, and normally to get listed on an exchange, you need to come with a lot of glizzy, and I don't think anyone's did that. I think Gate.io just seeing, hey, this is how we can get some fees. Let's list this token. It's going to be traded. They're obviously watching us. They're obviously watching OSD, because anything you guys talk about seems to get listed on Gate.io pretty quickly. So how do you feel about this? And do you think anyone actually paid to get this on, or do you think this was a natural fit for them?
Yeah, not to my knowledge, but there has been like a change in the stance, I think, because there are so many more meme coins and not teams building around these tokens. I think Binance changed their terms on listing a little while ago that people have been trying to point to get their token listed and stuff like that. So I think that everybody is taking a similar stance, right, as it trickles on down, because Binance is kind of the top of the food chain, and then all the other independent sexes do their own thing. But from what I've heard is like our thesis, right? They want to see adoption in the East, excitement in the East, because things that are adjacent to Bitcoin are very wrapped around that narrative in the East. So they want to see sales and things like that. And those are markets that they're trying to expand into as well. So they want to just see that opportunity to get new users and broaden their business aspects.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. So it's really cool though that they did list this, and especially after it's only up what
It's been a
like
week and it's
20x.
a random token on a random chain. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's cool.
But
Like, and it could,
it's the first too.
yeah,
The FB is not listed there yet, but
right.
Glizzy is.
I think FB went live there too, but
Okay.
yeah,
You sure? Okay.
I'm not 100%, but I think it was available.
Okay. Sounds good.
Maybe it
Well, that
was
makes sense
with
then.
today. I think it was with, I think because like MEXC has it. So usually Gate.io is generally before MEXC, but not always, right? It
Mexi is
depends.
FB, so I'm wrong.
Yeah,
So it's not just Coinless.
yeah. I thought Gate.io was the second one. I'm looking at the MEXC chart right now,
Oh, okay. Awesome.
and
Well,
I
that's
could
good to
buy
know.
it with spot right now. It actually
Awesome. I had
has
no idea.
futures on it too. I mean,
So Glizzy progress report. This is a tweet from our good buddy Block Block at Chain Racing Club, and he said logo submitted to OKX, currently under review. Gate.io listing this morning, currently in communication with MEXC for listing. Price is stable, holding over 100 sats. So this is a great. I love this progress report. It really keeps people who are not updated. So this is really awesome. But the logo, we finally got a logo for OKX, which is big.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that takes time. Like they're not the most receptive at like getting it on the page right away, so it might take a little while, but just the more branding things that you can build around it, always great. And I know some people yesterday were able to get on the 75 sat dip before all these announcements came out and kind of pushed it back over 100. So I mean, I think there's going to be opportunity. This is crypto, things fluctuate rapidly. So like everything, it's a double-edged sword, right? You can put leverage on sites so people can come in with fiat and try and push the price lower to then buy it at a price they choose to for the longer term. So I think volatility is going to continue, and it being so new, it's not going to follow Bitcoin. It's not going to have its own path, right? It really is just like so new that it has to do lots of different things. So don't put in too much. Don't mortgage your house to get this kind of asset, right? Do what you can, experiment, degen with what you're comfortable in losing, and ideally you can multiply in a great way.
Yeah, 100%. Tweet from the Cat protocol. As they said, now you have Cat tokens. The journey does not end. It only gets started. We will show you how deep the Bitcoin rabbit hole goes. It's hard to find meaning in this, except the fact that they're basically saying we're building. So,
yeah, for sure. I mean, they've alluded to, and there's no documentations in their Git book or anything yet about Cat 721. So that's going to be an image protocol that they're going to do. So I'm feeling like that's what they're inferring, but also there's really no infra, no tools, no swaps, anything like that. So it could mean a lot of things.
Yeah, 100%. So there actually is some infrastructure with a SafeNect wallet, really hard to say. Today, our test users started to transfer the Cat20 into the mainnet. So we will release in 72 hours or maybe earlier. Please hold your Cat20. So they're basically saying their wallet, and these guys are a wallet. They're a seedless wallet, no private key, no problem. Safe is the consensus. I've personally never used this. But it has 9,300 followers, so it's but they are the first one to support Cat20 tokens, and potentially will have this wallet up and running by the end of the week. This is pretty big. This is the first infrastructure that I've seen besides DotSwap.
Yeah, we were talking about it a little bit before the show, so I have it pulled up on a tab. I'm gonna go over to a test computer where I download stuff like this, and I'm willing to put it on there. So, anytime you're using something new, be careful with your funds. Ideally do it on a different device that you test things on. If you can't do that, maybe at least use a different browser, right? Maybe you put everything in Chrome, download Brave, and put more testy things on there. Everything has risk with it, and just be careful. But it's great to see. I think we're going to see a lot more of this. And this is really what I'm excited about, is the price can do whatever it is. I want to see developers, builders, experiments, all that stuff happening. And we saw it early with the hash rate and merge mining, and then also people solo mining directly at Fractal. And then we've seen it with the Cat 20 front running, you know, the 21K block. And now we have all of these, you know, marketplaces, launch pads, minting sites, now a wallet. And I'm sure that, you know, Unisat in time will probably integrate it, but I want as many tools out there that are not Unisats as possible, because it just creates a more competitive market, drives down the service fees and everything like that.
Yep. And competition is the best way for users, right? And the more competition we have in the space, the better it is for us. Otherwise, if we have monopoly, they can charge us whatever they want, and they can say use it or don't, you know. But having different services,
or set up your node and figure it out. Which, it's
exactly
tough. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of infrastructure, though, dot swap, new Cat 20 pairs are now supported on dot swap. Deposit, swap, and withdraw at any time. Dot swap, you can actually provide liquidity and earn fees as well. And I had the token list. See, here it is.
Right, Cat, Kitty Cash, Fractal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. I had a list, but I guess it didn't get put in here. Let me see if I can find the tweet itself. Dot swap. That's one thing that sucks about like trying to have everything ready. It's just like,
it's so tough to even see it because all the little tabs are one word, if that. Yeah.
So it's Kibble by the Real Pizza Farm. It's Kitty Cash, Kitten, Meow, Eat the Cat, Eat the Cat, Eat the Cat. No, I'm joking. Cat 20 Pizza and Wukong. So I own Kibble. I own Kitty. What is Kitten? Did I miss Kitten?
I haven't heard that one. It might have just been one of the early ones that went like when Cat went. So it was probably smaller supply, smaller holders.
Yeah. I missed Meow. I was gifted some Eat the Cat by the creator, which is pretty cool. Hit me up, asked me for a while, and I was like, all right, cool. So I'll probably just hold that for a while because I don't sell my gifts. And then Cat 20 Pizza, I actually have a little bit over 2,000 now. I'm still minting that. And Wukong, I haven't done any Wukong. But this is pretty big by dot swap, right?
Yeah. They continue to, you know, be at the cutting edge of adding fractal elements to their swap. You know, like with anything, you know, be comfortable losing what may happen. It is a centralized player, but they are innovating, right? So ideally over time, maybe they can have a module on Fractal and make this more on chain, but it is one of the best ways to get it. Like we were saying earlier, it's tough to get Fractal. It's creating liquidities for these tokens that easily could be locked up for months. So yeah, keep plugging away. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're killing it. They're like the only ones really doing anything. I mean, you could say what you want about being centralized, but this is the only place where we can actually trade tokens, and especially it's not even a marketplace style, right? I saw StatsX saying they're gonna do the cat tokens like how we do NFTs, but this is this is big because it's you do have to trust DotSwap, but so far they've been trustworthy, right? So
yeah, I just like to put it out there so that way people are aware of it and you can make your own decisions.
So 100 FB gets me 43,000 kitty cash. 100 FB gets me 881 cat. 100 FB. I do like that aspect of it where you can kind of track price. Let me see.
Yeah.
I don't see Eat the Cat. Maybe they don't have that right down. But Fractal Pool gives me 15,000 Fractal Pool. But yeah, pretty cool.
Nice.
All right. So get the stuff that's not Fractal. Taproot, which is revealed last night. I was in the Nookie space with Sam Sage. Shout out to Sam. He's the one who does both of our intros, and we'll continue to do our intros because we like it being a community member that does that. So Sam and those guys, they had the founder or the creator of the Taproot, which is in there. These guys that was the place to go last night. The reveal was fun to listen to. I have one. I bought one yesterday at like 0.004, and now I'm lucky because I'm up almost double on that money. It got down to like 4.005, so I got one pre-reveal for 0.0004. I did a thing or whatever, and someone quickly just sold it. What are they called? You kind of put an offer in?
For Liquidium or
no.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, for the
Insta.
So I was lucky enough.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to get one, and it ended up looking pretty cool. I was kind of disappointed with mine because I was hearing Sam and those guys got alien faces and all this crazy stuff. But what do you think? I know you had a Taproot Witch. How do you feel about the reveal and everything now?
Yeah, it was a blast in there. I'm excited that they've revealed. They're doing it on a block height, so that's usually pretty cool. And surprisingly, it didn't dump on reveal, right? I think a lot of the FUD front ran the dump, right? So that was maybe even good because it just washed all that out earlier and you didn't see it on reveal. There's been
Yeah.
some pretty good sales for more unique ones up well above the floor. So that's generally a good sign, a decent amount of volume as these other tokens or other images and ordinals and everything have seen a bit as well. So yeah, I'm holding mine. You know, if I had more than one, I probably would have tried to at least swing trade one. But I'm just kind of sitting pat. You know, I have my $100 in, and I think it can do more.
Yeah. And I like them. They actually look pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
There's
they're
some
cute.
obviously better than others. Yeah.
Yeah. And they front
So,
ran the Taproot Wizard. So,
yep.
you know, there's always that narrative. They're going to do some cool aspects with another rune, the Spice Melange, and changing the eyes. I don't know the exact parameters of that. So go look into that. They're supposed to change on the full moon. I don't know in what way exactly, but, you know, they're experimenting just like they experimented with the rune early on and then the collection and more. So I like that they're going to keep trying stuff. I get everything wasn't perfect. So be it. But at the end of the day, right, like Azuki is still a 6th asset, and we can talk all about that project. So, you know,
Yeah.
projects can go through a rough period, and I don't think that this project is anything like Azuki in those ways, right? I don't think they were doing, you know, nefarious things. I think they're a small team that's learning and has done amazing up until, you know, the couple bumps recently, and hopefully that track record of being amazing continues because they definitely have more of a long-term plan.
Yeah. And yeah, I forget her name who's behind it, but Teresa, she was talking on the Nuki space, and she seems really intelligent. She seems like she's really wants to do well by the holders, and you know, she has 5 Bitcoin now that she can build with, right? So and people don't understand, like, yeah, obviously, you know, they made you pay 0.015, which is like $100, but now they're able to take that and kind of add equity or add, you know, to this project. And I think that's really cool, given that founder that opportunity to kind of sit back and build more cool stuff. I mean, this is only a 3,000 collection. You could potentially see this as a 10,000 collection, you know, and the holders of this could get, you know, 2 whitelists to the next one or whatever. So I think it's really awesome that or you can just keep building in the aspects of creating runes and, you know, destroying that rune to upgrade and upgrade. So it's really just really cool stuff that you can do with stuff, especially with ordinals, because, you know, there's no smart contracts or anything like that. So,
yeah. No, definitely. Wish them the best.
Yeah. It's kind of getting into some collections here. The ordinal collections are moving. You know, we got No Monkeys finally over 0.2.
Yeah.
And we have puppets out of the 0.1 range.
Yeah.
Tap, which is obviously brought the hype and kind of reason why everything is up, because they're bringing people back to management. The Ordinal Max bid sitting at 0.2, and then we got the Quantum Cats sitting at 0.28. What do you think about this huge rise? And this is the first movers. This is moving before pretty much anything else.
Yeah, we kind of saw it with frogs too. They were, you know, a little bit below 0.03 and they were slowly starting to creep. So that was something, you know, a few of us were mentioning, like a lot of times in the other runs, frogs have been the first mover because it is a pretty loyal base. It's had a bunch of movement or whatever. Obviously, there's projects that have, you know, surpassed them now. But that was a cool indicator that seems to be playing out. And yeah, it's awesome that volume is coming back. You know, this is a very green day. We could see a very red day tomorrow and be back right where we were. But at least we're seeing, you know, eyes coming over, people, you know, packing their bags maybe for a bigger run, whatever it may be. But yeah, getting, you know, OMB made a big run there too, because I know they were at like 0.15, I think, yesterday.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're starting to see a lot more action. And I mean, I think even before I looked, I think Puppets was like over 0.13, almost 0.14. So, I mean, you're going to see people coming in at the end of the day, right? Like you can list it at any price, but just the overall volume kind of coming back and being more natural than it probably was most of the summer. I think that's a really good sign.
Yeah, because everyone knows No Monkeys are being kind of wash traded, right? That's a service that you can kind of pay for. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but it's definitely pretty obvious. But to see, you know, these other projects actually have the volume again, especially the frogs, who's been really beaten down. The frogs are kind of like the telltale, right? When the frogs were hit that 0.5, it was pretty much down only in pretty much the markets, and then the puppets came along and kind of, you know, took the frog.
Things.
Yeah, yes, and then took it up. But the frogs, man, if the frogs can get pumping, I think that'll be a sign of we're back. So
Mhm. Yeah, ribbit, ribbit.
ribbit, ribbit. I haven't heard that in forever. It's been a while. That's all you heard in 2023.
Yeah,
Like the early part of it anyway. But yeah, that's
definitely.
huge.
Chico gets ones out there. The Chico Mo from the Nookies because he's still
Yeah,
rocking his frog. But yeah,
we
I
actually
still
had
have
him on the show.
one.
But yeah,
Nice. Okay. But yeah, no,
you see?
it's good, just good to see. Opium was the same yesterday. If you would have bought an opium yesterday, it was the same as a puppet, and it
Yeah.
definitely is a much smaller collection, more OG. So I've been tempted many times, but I'm trying to be good.
Yeah, the opium it was the inspiration for the puppets, right? Is that
Yeah,
how that
that was
worked?
the first collection that Le Puppeteur put on Bitcoin, and with Lukey, I believe. I believe he helped with the
Gotcha.
modeling. Yeah. And then that's what led to getting 5 Bitcoin puppets with that mint and the first one. And then the open mint was the one that broke, right? So if you had an opium, you were guaranteed basically like 6 figures if you sold. And then obviously whatever other airdrops that came through, et cetera. So yeah, it's for sure, a very small collection, OG. I've appreciated it. I probably won't be getting into it, but yeah, there was definitely opportunities in there where I thought about putting in a loan and being okay with the default and whatever. And I've just kind of focusing a lot on fractal and tokens because I just really feel that
Yeah.
as things really rip, I think the ordinal collections will do fine. I just think there's more opportunity with where I'm focusing on right now of like putting money into swaps and farming there and earning extra from that or getting in on these mints early. I've even did a couple runes last week. Shout out to the Nookies because they're very much on top of that. I'm not going in heavy, but I'll throw $20 here and there and just
Yeah.
hope for the best. And I think people are taking a new attitude, right? Like the meme meta didn't really seem to work with runes. And now it seems like it's more projects trying to build around a rune. And shout out to the Taproot Witches. They kind of showed that model can work. So I think more people are even, trying to build around that.
100%. I agree. Well, speaking of runes, we might as well get into that. We have some pumpers here.
Yep.
This is a 7-day chart, but a billion dollar cat is up 181%. That's very
Yeah.
quietly. I haven't really heard anything on the
Yeah.
timeline about this, and I don't know. Did you really see that?
I mean, I didn't expect it, that's for sure. But yeah, there's been a lot of movement and a lot of them. Um, I was surprised at that one, right? It's definitely made a resurgence, but I think there's people like looking at market caps, seeing what the
Yeah.
safer play is. Dog's really been stuck at that like 4 to 4.5, maybe a little under, a little higher. So it's really been kind of just floating around that 250 range. And like we were talking about earlier, right? When you're at those higher market caps, a 2x, a 3x, a 4x is a lot of money coming into that token. Whereas
Yeah.
these lower ones that, Billy has a good community, they've got people making merch, right? It flows into Bitcoin in some sense, right? So, I might not be the hugest fan of it. I know you've said that too. So it's cool, do it, run it up, and, there'll be more funds to flow around throughout the system.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the only reason I'm not a fan of it is because it's just not funny.
Mhm.
Billion dollar cat. You know what I mean? Like if you're a meme coin, it's I mean,
Yeah.
but then you get
Dog
dog
Go
with
to the
that,
Moon kind of
right?
set that
Dog go to the
precedent, right? Yeah, there's just,
yeah,
it wasn't the traditional memeonomics we talked about.
yeah,
It's boomer memeonomics. I mean, that's really the problem with
it
memes on
really is.
Bitcoin, honestly, at the end of the day.
And like something like, it's a full moon. They're not trying to be, funny. I mean, it's just kind
Yeah.
of like this is their project, and it's like, but like this is pretty. I don't even know what this says, but it's up eight
Mhm.
847%.
Yeah.
PDD potted me, but it's running hard. So
Yeah. And you also have to be careful with these percentages because they definitely get skewed.
yeah,
Like when things sell in NFT packs, it can sell for 5x the floor, spike the price, and immediately drop it. So that's where I really look at the charts a lot more. So that's
yeah.
just, a little tip.
100%. Pup Royal piece up 83%.
Mhm.
See anything else? How's Mr. Yen doing? Are you a Mr. Yen holder? I
I
hold a
am not.
bag.
No, I stayed pretty much on the sidelines when the mempool was on fire. I just
Gotcha.
couldn't really talk myself into it. I made a couple like secondary plays, but I was usually like in and out. And I should, like I've said before, do that
Yeah.
more often. So it's just good practice. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm taking a few shots here and there, but I'm not really scaling in. I've kind of got my bags packed and even hedged some of my bets with, like, I still have some dog tucked away. I still have some RSIC tucked away, should have sold, but in case they have, the run that everybody hopes they do, I still have a little moon bag and hope them the best too. But I just don't see Asia coalescing around runes, right? It has the language barrier, right? It's longer tickers. They were never really like gestured to in the ways that they considered they should have been, in my opinion. And I feel that that's been expressed on the timeline in various ways. So I'm just not as bullish as some on runes, but I'm willing to, have a bag and play it out too.
Yeah, I'm not bullish on runes anymore at all. I got, I'm with people who were very, very bullish on runes and then kind of got the taste knocked out of my mouth, got hit hard in the face. So it's one of those
Mhm.
things where now it's just like I just have no, like, obviously it can probably run, but
Yeah.
I'm on to the next thing, which is, cat and fractal stuff, and potentially when Tap Marketplace comes out, maybe get into that. But I don't think I'm really going to touch runes hard anymore. I just don't. I just every time I hear the word runes, it's just kind of like ugh. And I'm sure there's a
Mhm.
lot of people that feel the same way I do. So
Yeah, that on a more macro level, that's really why I have a lot of like things to say about it, I guess, in a polite
yeah,
way, is because it was like sold to people for months. It wasn't organic. BRC20s was an
yeah,
experiment. There was the open minting style. Runes brought in this pre-mine. So like there was differences in that aspect. Obviously, you can pre-mine now with updates to BRC20 on Fractal, etc. So I get it. Like there is a reason to have things like that. But a lot of people from Solana, from the East, from Ethereum, from wherever, were told that runes are going to do X, Y, and Z, and they still have never done that. So they came in, expected all of these things, all of these promises, and were never fulfilled on that. So I feel like that is a big disservice to the larger ordinals community and building on Bitcoin, because they gave people like you have, even though you're still here, you're still grinding, you're willing to pivot and understand.
yeah,
Other people pivoted back to Solana, back to Ethereum, back to their home chain, and feel burnt and have that PSTD that's going to PTSD that's going to make them not want to come as easily back when things do start to run, right? So that's my big thing, is I feel like it was just a poor onboarding opportunity and the way things were handled in that manner.
yeah. I 100% agree. It was, I think Casey did a shit job, but Casey doesn't care about runes, and that's the thing too.
Yeah, I
I
mean, he
started
literally
thinking about
called it
that
a
later.
shitcoin protocol, that he launched the first rune ever and
Yeah,
then walked away and has no plans on
yeah,
upgrading it. Whereas Unisat is delivering over and over again. Yes, the swap on L1 had mistakes. Yes, they're not perfect in any way, shape, or form. Yes, they're a company that's going to make profit, right? But they're still continually putting assets, people, effort into it. They're not like dancing around laughing at you buying Winko Manko, and you know
I
what I mean,
know.
and having no desire to actually build out more than saying, here's a protocol, have fun with it, because I don't like how BRC20s were done. I mean, and then at the end of the day, it was a
Yeah,
merger of BRC20s and atomicals. It's not like this was like a revolutionary protocol by any means. The main reason it gets used, and I've had people from marketplaces tell me this, is because they can download the ordinals client and index it alongside runes, and that's a huge upside than dealing with a different style indexer from another company. Fair
yeah,
enough. At the end of the day, they're both indexes, right? So it's just down to your expertise of handling indexes.
yeah. 100% agree. But that's why I like Cat 20 so much too. It's like there's no
Mhm.
indexer. No one
Yeah.
got. No one has to do anything.
Yeah.
It'll never, as long as the chain's running, it'll never stop. Like your
Yeah. And
indexer could explode one day. Like
I mean, and big players need the tracker, right, to understand the full state of things, to do some
yeah,
more elaborate things. But this goes back into that argument of like full node versus light node. And Bitcoin has kind of shied away from that. And BSVs were much bigger on this. But I tend to agree with them. Like the light client of wallets is all that's needed, right? You just need to verify the specifics of the transaction. I shouldn't have to carry, I don't have to, right, with Unisat and all these other ones, carry around my phone and do all of these things with the full node. So the big players in the space will run a full node. Maybe a foundation is put up to run some security nodes or a master node system or whatever it may be, right? There's lots of different models that can be tried. But yeah, I really do think that that's the way to go forward. And maybe it is with a merging of indexing and tracking, and we port over there eventually. But yeah, I think there's going to be lots of bumps in the road, and you just want to be exposed to whatever's out there.
100% agree. So let's hit some Q&A here. First question, do you prefer ketchup or mustard on your glizzy?
Mustard. I'm not a big ketchup
I'm a
fan.
mustard guy. Nah, I'm
Yeah.
not either.
I like
Oh yeah, like ketchup
Dijon,
one's
all the
okay.
weird
Yeah.
mustards too. Like I can take yellow mustard, but yeah, a good Dijon on a brat or whatever. Yeah, that's my thing.
I'm more of a yellow mustard guy. I'm a big
Okay.
fan of the yellow mustard.
I use it plenty, but yeah, I do like the weirder ones.
Please don't say both. They do not taste good together. Yeah, I agree. I'm not a big
Ketchup and
mustard
mustard. Yeah.
ketchup. Yeah, no, I'm good. Let's see
Mayo.
questions here.
That's something I learned from my my wife. You know, in Mexico they put mayo on it. Some other places too.
Mayo.
Yeah. I mean, you put mayo on your sandwich, right? Is it that much different than a bologna sandwich with mayo?
Yeah. D Block says it's on Mexi Shizzy. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's news to me. I don't know how
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, they didn't
So
publicize it very much. I just noticed it one day. Yeah.
yeah. It didn't come up from Unisat, or you would think Unisat would post it. They didn't post anything about it. They don't.
Yeah.
So it's really weird. Or even the Fractal Bitcoin account itself, which doesn't really tweet that much at all. So,
Mhm.
but
And it's
Mike,
this big east-west thing, right? Like the West is much more about marketing, and
yeah,
that's a big forefront of how businesses operate in the West. In the East, it's not like that. It's more about delivering where the product is. And we were kind of talking about that. And my stance is like I want to be able to use your stuff on the testnet, live net, wherever it is. You can say whatever you want to say, but until I can actually do it and use it and it can be market tested, that's the true test, in my opinion. And maybe that makes me miss out on the first leg of it, so be it, but then I'll be very ready to get in the second.
yeah, I agree. Brandon Wampler says, what are this guy's opinions of track and tap? Never heard your thoughts. What's your thoughts on track and tap?
I think we've talked about it before, and I usually try to shy away from it, but yeah, I'm just not a big fan. I think there's interesting projects in it, but at the end of the day, right, it's an extension of BRC20s that doesn't want to play nice with BRC20s. So I just feel that there's always this like conflict. If we can get it more into the nitty gritty, right, you're organizing patterns on chain. Well, who picked these patterns, right? A specific team, right? So there's just these aspects that I feel like gets into more marketing terms rather than like really what it is, right? Is it a decentralized indexing system? Well, it's not even launched yet, and one person controls the keys. So at the end of the day, right, that's a knock that people want to say against Unisat with BRC20s. Well, Casey's the only one who controls the Ordinals client index too. You know what I mean? Yes, many other people run it, but there's no pinging system and stuff like that. So I hope that, track number went up. People made bags. Good for you. You know what I mean? But when we get down to the technology, I'm just not personally excited about text inscriptions being X, Y, and Z. But specific projects have caught my eye. I've dabbled in them. I'm open to, trying out things if you have an interesting idea.
Yeah. And with them using ICP now, potentially a layer 2, and then with Ethereum, it's just one of those things where it's like I have heard talk and talk and talk for the last 12 months, but haven't seen anything. I mean, we're still trading on Ordinals wallet at the
Yeah.
so, and they can say they're building stuff like that, and I'm bullish on see what they're building because they have builders. They have Ghosty, they have Traverse and Foxy, and they actually have builders. But I just haven't seen anything to be excited about. And as the days keep going, they put out roadmaps, and it's just hard to get excited about something that you say, "Oh, this is coming." I've been hearing it's coming for the last 12 months.
Yeah, and I'm just not a huge fan of teams taking in money before they actually deliver a product. That's a a line in the sand that I generally draw. And with my thesis, maybe I missed the first leg, so be it. And like atomicals, right? Another example: promise things, promise atomicals, virtual machine, et cetera, et cetera. Allegedly, they were going to shift it over to BSV and bring you back, right? So that's not a L1 thing. I understand building on Bitcoin is tough. It's way over my head. More props to you. But these are the things that we have to, juggle in our hands when we're trying to make bets. And at the end of the day, when we're trading, we're making bets that things are going to go one way or another. So like we were talking with leverage or whatever it may be, you have to stick to your rules. And sometimes your rules will burn you, right? Like I think you remember LIGO, some random token. We looked into it. It looked like a bunch of garbage. Number went up. You could have made a trade. And things like that, including track and other things, are what opened my eyes to, I can have my opinion on the tech, I can read the GitHubs and all that kind of stuff, but I'm going to be very much more open to making a trade based on narrative and just being prepared to get out at a specific time.
Yeah, 100%. And when they do eventually drop their marketplace, like I'll play. I'd love, but my job is to make sure I'm caught up on all the space, right?
Yeah.
So that's part of my job is I will be testing it out. I will be buying their meme coins. I will be testing out their DeFi, and I hope it's amazing and blows my mind. But
I've read the
I'm
tap and Benny's GitHub many times. That's why I know plenty about it, and I just I choose to not be a huge supporter or fan of it, but I'm generally pretty quiet about it. The one thing that does irk me a little bit is the choice of words that they use for marketing that I feel are simply not true.
Yeah, 100%. Ordinal Chip says Fractal is only a fork, and the fate of all forks we know. But you're misunderstanding one thing. Fractal is made to be a Bitcoin layer 2. So this is the first Bitcoin fork that was actually built to potentially live on Bitcoin. And obviously, we're not going to get to those points until Bitcoin gets Opcat. But when Bitcoin gets Opcat enabled, Opcat to Opcat is real seamless for a lot of things. So anything built on Fractal is kind of like a bed, right? So for everything on Bitcoin, so a testing bed, and that's what's going to happen. I feel like it's bigger than just a fork, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. You're right, 100% right. It's code forked from Bitcoin that they made tweaks to, probably with ChatGPT. The code is shit from what I hear from other people. So be it, right? But it's working. People are playing on it, and it's being battle tested every single day. So this used to be the model is UTXO models like Bitcoin, whether it be Litecoin, Doge, Cardano, et cetera, were the testing grounds, and people maybe stayed a little too rigid. BSV had a lot more opportunities and did things, but didn't accumulate the hash rate, whatever it is. And then we switched to the EVM cycle, right? And then now we're very concerned about MEVs and exploits of contracts, right? With AI getting so smart, that's a concern. So there's been speculation of modular building, but the end goal has always been to be an atomic swap between chains is really the most ideal way to do it. And in order for that to happen, the mempool essentially needs to become your order book. And that, from what I've heard at Harry at Ordinal's Wallet building Fleur, that's what Cat 20 really opens up. And that's what really drew my attention, even though, I was somewhat skeptical, right? We've seen things that get slapped on chains early and then a week later are gone, or, ideas that come and go because the token was just a pump and dump or whatever. So you have to be careful. You have to, be willing to be wrong. But it definitely opened my eyes to like, this is why people are excited about Opcat on Bitcoin. And now we have a chain that we can test it on. And, Fractal has looked around and taken the best pieces of all of the failed chains. They use something from Rootstock, they use something from BSV, they use something from Bitcoin Cash. I'd argue like they even took that dot Kusama analogy from yesterday to say, hey, we can, as a very low bar, if we can be a live test net for Bitcoin, there's value in that. Let alone swaps and atomic swaps and everything else that hopefully will come to be in the future. But that's why I'm excited about it. And maybe it's just, I'll lose my airdrop. Oh, well, it was free at the end of the day, only buy what you can. But I really do think that there's opportunity. And I do think that this is going to be, it's not going to be a month and everybody's a millionaire, and you shouldn't expect that.
100% agree. And what it comes down to is, where are you playing right now? And where can you play right now? Runes, Ordinals, and Fractal. Where's the cheapest place to play right now? Fractal. So if you enjoy this like I do, obviously I'm in this to make money, to get financial wealth. I have a business in this now, but at the end of the day, I love what I do. I love making trades. I love getting in stuff, getting those dopamines, right? Because like, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't do anything, I don't smoke nothing. But this is the one place where I get that high, right? I get that high of Glizzy going up. And I think that's really what it comes down to. Am I a gambling addict? Maybe. I don't know. Right.
Right. Well, and for the first time, they have the same wallet, right? That's what really blew up the Ethereum L2s, is that you use the same wallet and you just click a little drop down, right? So they've just taken a lot of really good elements from different places. So
Exactly. It feels the
so
same. It
I'm
feels
gonna I'm gonna play it around in there, and I'm still waiting to actually put in money. So yeah, I could have sold day one when it was $30 and got couple $100, couple $1,000, whatever it is in your airdrop, but then you would be trying to buy back in and nobody
yeah.
can get Fractal. So you have to consider both of these. And yeah, I just think that they're going to keep building. They can go through a dry period and they're going to keep building.
100%. All right. JR says, bro, FBs won't get that out. Yeah, man, that's new to me. I'm gonna look back and see when it was listed because I don't usually miss things, and I definitely missed that. Samuel Manuel says, can you teach me how to sell cat there? Yeah, it's really simple. Let me see if I can do this really quickly for you. So you just go to dotswap.app, you click on the V1, and that'll take you to the exact same page. You go to swap FB for cat. What you want to do is you want to flip it over to where cat's on top. And when you connect your wallet, let me just do it here. 2 seconds. All right. So after you connect your wallet here, you can see that my cat. So what I would do is I have 8.16 cat. You should see a deposit somewhere, and you just deposit it in the dot swap, and then you're able to trade it. Like just go 8. I have 8 cat here, and I'll get point 8 fractal. What is the price of cat right now? Cat. The price of cat is it's about $1.35. So that's actually pretty stable. It's been pretty much there for a while. So yeah, so it's really easy, real simple. I should probably do a tutorial video. Look, I'll do a tutorial video on this as well for you guys. So it's real simple. Jumping along here. Francis today video title Fractal about to boom, and your title is Fractal BTC going to 0. Yeah, it's just clickbait, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we're both just trying to get people to watch. So does he think Fractal's about to boom? Maybe. Do I think Fractal's going to 0? No, not at all. But it was something to kind of put out there to get people to come in. So El Bay says Kitty is moving. I gotta take a look into that. Trait says dog runes price prediction. He didn't give a timeline on this. That's the only problem. But what would you say a year from now, dogs prices? Do you see it at over $1 billion market cap?
During the bull run, I think at a minimum it should at least double top and tap its old high. Ideally, at 5 or 10x is beyond that. But I think a hindrance at the end of the day for the runes protocol in general is the fact that it's building on L1, right? It's hard to build with the UTXO model. There's 14 years of track record, 10 different UTXO model chains that show you they've tried it a bunch of different ways. So that's also a negative for Fractal Bitcoin that we can bring up. But like we said, there's a player that's willing to experiment and willing to try. And I would argue many of those other chains were much more idealistic. They were one person's interpretation of how the chain should operate, and they controlled a lot of it. So Unisat, at the end of the day, has a lot of control over it, but has partners like OKX, has the ecosystem of BRC20s already on the main chain, has a builder like S-Script coming in and wanting to do Cat 20, and they're open to it. They already put a tab on their website for Cat 20. So, like I've said before, you can bash Unisat or whatever. They have been one of the most open builders in the Bitcoin space, if not by far, at least one of the top many. So I just feel that their track record has been, above par. They've given airdrops. Maybe you don't agree with how they were, but they spent a ton of money on pizza. They messed up their own pizza drop and cost themselves money. They're building out a use case for SATs, the largest token on BRC20s. I haven't heard anything that's going to be built around uncommon goods. So, there's just all of these differences we can keep looking back at. And yeah, some runes are going to pump, and I hope the best. But at the end of the day, like, they're probably going to have to use a dot swap method where it's a trust me bro place. And that's the best. And that's not a move forward, right? We were already doing that with BRC20s and arguably more in the module system, even though it was flawed. So that's where, I think Fractal Bitcoin as a testnet can really just let us try everything, throw it against the wall, see what sticks. And if it's tried and true and really vetted, then get a chance to come to the major leagues and be on Bitcoin.
Yeah, completely agree. So what would you say your price prediction would be?
Like I said, I think it's going to at least go back to the 1 billion mark and double tap, maybe just a double top, and then ideally 5 to 10x in a best case scenario.
Okay,
which is why I
that's
hedge my
more than
own
fair.
bet, even though I'm like I said, not super eager on runes. I think that when Bitcoin is doing its thing and everything else is, it can for sure catch the bid and do things. So
Gotcha.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
1 billion is a 4x from here, right? So if you're buying in now, great for you. You have opportunity of that, and then beyond is even more.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. I think between 2 and 3 billion top of this could be. But still
Mhm.
that's only what a 10x max. So I think we're both
Yeah.
in the same spot there. Bit Honcho says no key, no ordinary kind. This is from I forget who created this. Do you know? The no ordinary kind?
Control. These control,
Yeah,
right?
these
Yeah.
control. Are you bullish on that?
I'm not. They had a good little narrative. I saw them when we were in Nashville, and cool that they had some things going on. But I've just seen a lot of these teams kind of come and go, and it seems like at the end of the day, it's when liquidity comes back to the market, right? Like
Yeah.
I checked out for a bit this summer, but I was still hanging out, talking with the buddies, doing this thing. You see a lot of people of specific projects that really only check in when it's convenient for them. So what are
Yeah.
they doing for their holders the rest of the time? So yeah, they had some pretty cool images. If I would have got some whitelist, I probably would have made a swing trade or whatever. But yeah, I'm not personally holding them and not looking to get into there.
Yeah, I bought these. I got one. I got the three wrappers. They're not unwrapped. I got
Okay.
one of the normal ones. I got one of the gold ones and one of the other ones. I got one of the three. I'm just
Yeah.
holding. Right. I
Yeah.
just got them to get them. They weren't expensive. I think I paid like $400 for all three. I got them pretty much when the dip happened. So yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
holding them. I have no intention to sell them. I just I like to grab stuff, put them in my safe, and then see what happens in a few months. So.
Yeah. And if you're willing to wait for more of an intermediate play, like it'll have opportunity. They do have good marketing. There's obviously more to come. It's just, yeah, there's a lot of choices to make, and that's one I just made with them.
Yeah, 100%. Nocturnal says it's a full moon is more of a utility rune than a meme, in my opinion. I gotta look more into that one. I feel like I've been, that dropped right as my rune mentality just went away. So it's hard for me
Discontent
to
was an
like,
all-time high.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really was. So I didn't really look into that too much, but I will. Do you have any
And
opinion on it's a full
I've
moon?
heard it mentioned. I just don't really understand how. Right.
Yeah,
So Spice Melange is going to have a specific thing to do with changing the eye, like in the Dune series that they do with the High Priestess and all that jazz. I don't know how it's a full moon will be a utility play, but yeah, it'll be cool to see, and I hope the best.
yeah, 100%. Crypto University says track tap price prediction. Me and Yagobi, we did this a while ago. I think we said track between 30 and 50. And I think track and tap have the same supply. So I think the same thing, probably around between, maybe tap gets from 50 to 70. I don't know. Do you have a price prediction for tap?
I'm not sure. I'll just leave that one for the prices
Yeah.
to figure themselves out.
How do I pay for a cosmic bit miner? You just go to mscribed and you can't I guess you can just go to marketplace and the mscribe marketplace probably has some cosmics listed, so check that out. They will be listed on Magic Eden probably this week as well, but just look out for Foxy's Discord. They'll help you out there. Orca says J25 just so clear speaking. Yeah, you're like meant to do this stuff. I'm serious.
Appreciate it. What up, Okra?
Nocturnal says, with a limit of 10 per minute, Cat 20 pizza, how much should we consider loading up on? So me and Jay were actually talking about that before the show. I got 2,000. I've been minting it when I get bored. Like I was sitting here listening to OSD, and I this morning
Mhm.
I was like, oh, I'll mint another 100 or whatever. So what do you think about Cat 20 pizza?
Yeah, this is one I think we talked about yesterday, but as it's been minting, Cat 20s, you can have the same ticker come out with a different token ID, like EVM style chain Solana. So I was like, why would Unisat want to support something that has their same name and they spend all this money on the BRC20 pizza? But once again, somebody from the East kind of gave a nudge like, hey, you might want some of this. So yeah, I'm grabbing some, but I'm much more a little bit more hands off with the Cat 20. I'm not fully diving in because I think that there'll be an opportunity to get in while people are waiting. And there's the pizza swap narrative, the Uni Worlds narrative, all these listings for Fractal Bitcoin and other said tokens. I think it's going to be really tough for like the Cat token to get onto a centralized exchange, just because it is such an experimental protocol right now on an experimental chain, right? So that's where you have to have this. Do you want to get in and wait, right? There could be tons of upside, but you also might feel that strain because your liquidity is locked up for however long.
Yeah, 100%.
And
I agree.
swap's helping with that, right? But you can't go dump 100K of Cat into it right now. Like, you just can't.
Yeah, it's the LP pool would just, it would just send it the price.
It evaporate. Yeah,
exactly. Murgod says, what's your opinion on current rune situation? Will runes recover? Depends what you mean by recover. Do I think they're gonna do what I thought they were gonna do 6 months ago? I don't know. I'm just like I just have a bad taste in my mouth. I do have, some rune bags that I have Agora, I have Mr. Yen and Satoshi Nakamoto and stuff like that. So if that stuff ever gets back to even where I bought it, maybe I would think that's gonna do better, but I don't know. You?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of went into that. I think it's more of an issue with the protocol at large. But I think that it will run adjacent to. I'm much more open to looking at shit coins on Bitcoin in a more general term, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm willing to make trades, and that's my trader hat on. But when I get down into the protocol, that's where I have the differing opinions. And yes, it's just a dumb text inscription, but that's the point: is you can do more with that dumb text inscription than you can with a UTXO model.
100%. Nocturnal says back up the truck. I'm not sure what he's talking about here, but I mean, I wouldn't back up any truck right now. I think I think you really, maybe just go and DCA. I'm not, whatever you, I'm not sure what he's talking about, but
maybe like back up the trunk once the price dumps. If there is a better entry later or something. Yeah.
Is Nocturnal rocking a Promethean? Wow.
He is. Yeah. He's got that prom out there probably still.
Speaking of that, Murgod says, please, guys, your opinion on rune number 2, decentralized going decentralized. So, decentralized seems to be OXBT 2.0. I remember this because I was a holder of OXBT, but when BitGod decentralized the token last summer of 2023, that was when it just went to pretty much zero. So yeah, I think this is trash. I think these guys did a terrible job on this. And they could have done it differently, but I'm not buying this with your money. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you. I'm open to the possibility of it. I sold mine. I didn't nearly hit the top. I had known about the Kongs on the east side, and I'm not super bullish on ETH projects trying to make a splash on Bitcoin without genuinely tapping into the community. It seemed much more like a Western centric play, and I'm much more focused on the East. So that's just my feeling on it. Maybe a community can coalesce around it. I know some projects are trying to take in decentralized as a fee to create use cases for it. So it'll be a fun experiment. But yeah, I'm definitely not buying even at these prices.
Yeah, I hear you. Chris C says I ain't using that, and with a pink poop, so I'm guessing he's meaning track. And then Marco says, do you think that the fragmentation of Glizzy, Kitty, FB20, Cat 20 penalized FB, Sats, and Pizza? I saw a lot of effort in shilling too much different stuff in 3 different days instead of focusing on that. So no, I think if everyone would have been in on something like just like Glizzy, I think that's terrible for the chain. I think it is good to have different stuff, being Cat 20 and BRC 20. I think that's perfect. I think how everything's kind of unfolding with Fractal has just been pretty much perfect. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's been exciting, right? Like everybody kind of thought it'd be the first token ordinals, but the tokenomics are much different, on this chain with cheaper fees, etc. So you needed a much larger mint, which it takes more transactions to gain, enough tokens to have 0.5%, 1%, whatever you're going for. But you can also turn, fractions of a cent into much, much more. And I think that's the real upside of that, just as like, bombarding the chain, playing the mempool game, getting nostalgic about that BRC 20 craze. And we're in mint season, right? This will end just like it ended on the main chain. This will be over at some point to some extent, right? There'll still be some stuff that comes out. Cat 20 creates options where, token tickers can be reused. So that will create some longevity in that. but it really, the focus eventually will turn to, what are these projects building? What can we actually do? Do stable coins and other wrapped assets come in? And Pizza Swap is right around the corner. I think in a week, all you're going to hear is about is Pizza Swap. And not that these are going to go away, right? But these were just the early tokens that were minted, have done well. And then, many of the FBRC20s will be able to be in the Pizza Swap and then have liquidity added to them, whether it be an FB, Sats, or whatever. So I think that's a huge opportunity. And nobody was saying this when, runes were coming out. Why are we ignoring BRC20s? Everybody was very open to saying, let's hop to this new standard because XYZ said so, or because Casey's building it, or whatever. Nobody said, well, we already have tokens. Like, why bother? So people are going to continue to experiment, and they should. It's an open chain. There's going to be atomical style projects or whatever it may be. But I think that OpCat and the Cat 20 is just seeding that belief that down the road there can be more.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with everything, and I think that Pizza Swap will change everything, especially if they do add the Cat 20s. So 100%.
Yeah.
Crypto Universe says, how much will you buy a Cosmic Miner for? Tough questions. I haven't really looked at the market, but I definitely want a Cosmic because you the first 2 weeks that you're allowed to do that, you will be able to earn USDT just for the first 2 weeks, and then you're earning the TAP token, the bits, what is it, the Bit Foxy token, and a bunch of other tokens as well. So that's definitely something that I want to get a Cosmic for. But Okra says Merlin Ketchup. This is a good question. I'm still bullish on Merlin. I still have a lot of assets there. I still own Who Cat. I still own Merlin. I still own Merlin Starter. I got the Bit Smileys things locked up in their vault things. So I'm still bullish on Merlin, but Merlin's not going to do anything until ETH does something. And ETH's not going to do anything until Matic starts doing something, right? So it's just like, or Arbitrum and stuff like that. So I do think that once Ethereum comes back, and I do think Ethereum's about to do a bounce, and you're going to see some people start playing over there again, people coming back. I think that's when Merlin kind of goes a little further. You have to remember Merlin's EVM, so it's based over there. But do you think Merlin kind of gets back in maybe to the people's attention again?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I was definitely interested in their conversations, I think, with Bitcoin OS and their permissionless bridging that they want to start building. And Mr. J mentioned that in a more cryptic way before they could announce anything, out in the open, but did say that they were going to be trying something that's not really been done before. So I think that's great, right? If you can have some style of atomic swap or permissionless swap, like that's definitely something everybody is striving for, and I hope that they can do it. I think that something that could be beneficial for an EVM style chain is to entice more EVM users to that chain to use Bitcoin as the underlying asset and then onboard them to Bitcoin. I feel like much of the onboarding was from Bitcoin. I get it. Like Bitmaps was, cornerstone of that. Other, the BRC 420 assets, the other assets that were able to go in the seal. So I still have some of my Merle, but that's pretty much all I've been holding, because at the end of the day, it is a BRC20 asset. So that's the main thing that I feel like is a very, I earned it. So, right, I had some risk or whatever, but I essentially got it for free. Maybe some trading fees, bridging fees, whatever. But yeah, I've just kind of tucked away a bag that I'm like happily surprised. It seems like it's bottom and kind of curling up. And I really think that if BRC20s, get a mainstay that can help that specific token, and then the entire chain, that's another story. There's definitely interesting products that are being built on it, but at the end of the day, you do need usership. So I'm still up in the air on that, and it may be, a longer term play. Like I've mentioned, Fractal Bitcoin probably will be as well.
100%. And you have to remember, I think this was announced, but when OKX invested in the Merlin, and all these there's big investors behind Merlin. It's not just Jeff. And when they bought, their buy-in was 39 cents. So you're actually buying under. If you buy Merlin now, you're actually buying under OKX. And I think this thing gets to. I mean, I was saying it for a while, but when Ethereum is getting close to that 10K mark, which I definitely think it hits. I think Ethereum gets like 16, 17,000. I think that you're going to see Merlin potentially hit $5-6. And that's not financial advice. That's just why I'm holding it. Right. So,
yeah, maybe like a Merlin poly market, get in that futures kind of markets or something. I don't know. But yeah, I think there just has to be some like specific use case that really grabs attention, and unfortunately that didn't happen the first go around. But I think also expectations were really high that out of the gate everything was going
Yeah.
to be seamless, more things open, and that's a little bit on Jeff too. I think he definitely foreshadowed more being ready than it was.
Well, nobody was thinking Bitcoin was going to go sideways for 6 months though either, right?
Mhm.
So I think I think there is stuff that is ready to be put out, but it's just
Mhm.
not the environment to put it out in, right? Especially
Yeah,
in July. So,
totally fair.
Nocturnal says, "Do you think there will be more airdrops as profitable as runestones?" I'm hearing some rumors that there's going to be some airdrops to cat holders on Fractal. I think that's going to be like the big play is to hold cat, just not for the price go up, but the airdrops and stuff like that on Fractal. Do I think there's going to be airdrops as big as runestones on Bitcoin Layer 1? No, I don't. I think that'll go down in history as the biggest airdrop ever. But I think there is opportunity for Fractal. I'm curious to your opinion on this, Jay.
Yeah, I think it go either way. There has to probably be a more specific reason, right? Like there was an incentive for people to try and get the runes protocol to have some hype, have some adoption, have everything else going. So maybe that does coalesce around Cat 20s, especially if there's an opportunity for L1 down the line. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them. Obviously, I'm exposed in many different areas, and I enjoy airdrop hunting. But Runestone definitely seemed, to be a mark above everything else. So, shout out to Leo for that, right? He definitely did a great job with that, and it's tough. It's tough to keep something going longer term.
Yeah. I mean, Leo gave me like $20,000, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But when I sold, I pocketed like 20K in Bitcoin. So
yeah.
I don't think I'll ever get anything bigger than that. Any info on Magic Eden Diamonds? Kind of talked about it yesterday. Magic Eden's going to be a Solana token only. It's not going to be a rune like everyone thought. And you're going to be able to get the airdrop to your ordinals, your Magic Eden wallet, which will allow you to sell it there and potentially get back into Bitcoin. So yeah, this is what I'm hearing. I don't know if this is 100% true, but this is just what I read. So
Yeah, I
is that
read
the
that
same
it
with
was a
you?
Solana token as well. So yeah.
Yeah,
And I just don't I think that's so widespread with the diamond, it'd be hard to expect them to have a huge value, but we'll
yeah,
see. And I've seen Whales Market has some price predictions. So if you want to jump into that, there's just not a whole ton of volume and liquidity there.
100%. And then I think that was the last question, but we do have some statements. Cat 20's transfers like Ethereum tokens, send any amount, even fractions with no transfer description. Yes, 100%.
Mhm.
And then we have the real
Buys
play.
too. Like I could list 100 tokens, you buy 10 of them and my 90 are still listed.
I love that. The mempool
Mhm.
is the order book. Like I might
Yeah.
have to name the show that tomorrow. That's so good. But yeah, Cat's going to mega pump, and I think that's really it. And I think that's the show for today, guys. Jay, I just want to thank you again, dude. You killed it these last 2 days, and thank you for always making yourself available for us, dude. That means so
Mhm.
much to us, and I promise you, you're gonna get. We're gonna definitely hook you up. But yeah, thank you again, and I kind of want to give you the stage to kind of tell the people all about you, anything you want.
Yeah, for sure. Come check us out at OSD Honk Honk. I really appreciate the other geese that are coming in here to Nocturnal, Slimbino, everybody else that I always miss. But it's always fun hanging out with you guys. We all have different opinions, and that's fine. That's what a market is. So, I'm glad that people are having fun again. It's really tough to do something over and over again, especially as like a poker grinder from back in the day. I don't have that drive to grind 17 straight hours in a random Vegas casino hopping around 3 different rooms anymore. Now I play at the comfort of my home on a computer 1 day a week, basically. So for this to be fun again is a great sign. And there can be nerdy things, there can be other things those are all great. And we're not telling you to dump your Bitcoin. We're not telling you to like quit Bitcoin L1 assets by any means, right? It's just there is a new playground, a new sandbox that has lower risk, in my opinion, opportunities at a lower cost with exponential more than you can even think of. I mean, if next cycle Cat 20s are the token standard on Bitcoin, what do you think that's worth, right? And I'm not
Oh
even
man.
very much exposed to it, but I'm very interested in it.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like, that's the same 4 years. Cat 20 is the standard. Bitcoin has OpCat now. I
Mhm.
mean, who knows the value? I mean, we could see $1 billion and $1 billion asset,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and
Assets. So
say that BIPs still don't go through and Udi can't make that happen and coalesce the miners agreement, etc. Well, where is Cat 20 going to stay and play? On FB, right? Well, then that's another reason for people to want to be on FB.
100%. And Udi's probably gonna have to adopt cap 20s because the catnip is going to be a long time for you can even do anything with it, right? So unless he comes to Fractal or creates his own Fractal,
Right.
so I mean he might end up just adopting cat 20s.
Yeah, one they allegedly are doing their own L2, which so be it.
Well,
but yeah,
yeah.
we'll see. And
VM,
building on Bitcoin's tough, right? We've seen for 14, 15 years, a lot of things tried and not a ton of them stick. So that could totally happen again. But, I think that they're taking a different route about it. And I'm still holding my Bitcoin. I'm still holding my Bitcoin assets and many other things. So just, have fun with it, manage your risk and try and, do what you can.
100%. Thank you, Jay. I'll see you next time, buddy.
Cheers.
Absolutely amazing, guys. Again, thanks to Jay, man. The last 2 days have been awesome. Tomorrow, Yagobi is back. He has a lot of Singapore updates for you guys tomorrow, so look into that. We're going to be talking a lot about what his experiences was, what he's bullish on. It's going to be really good because I haven't really talked to him. Our time zones have been completely messed up. He's he's up when I'm sleeping. I'm up when he's sleeping because he's in Asia. I'm obviously in Philly. So but yeah. Guys, if you guys wouldn't mind, go check out our partners. We got BitPerp. They're going to be the leading leverage exchange on Bitcoin. They're going to be on, obviously, a side chain, and they're going to be doing really cool stuff. You're going to be able to 100x multiple runes, BRC20s, and a lot more, guys. Check out bitperp.io and look out for their paper trading coming in 2 weeks. It's gonna be fun. Ordinal Hive, I know these guys are always building. They're building an aggregator on Bitcoin. So instead of having to go to OKX to find the best price or Magic Eden go to the best price, you can actually get the best price right on Ordinal Hive. So check them out. Eventually, you can go to beta.ordinalhive.io beta.ordinalhive.io right now, and you can play on the Merlin sidechain right now using Ordinal Hive. They got a lot of cool stuff there, and you can earn points. And everyone knows what points are for, right? So, and they got fluid tokens. They are staking now, guys. They have, obviously they're borrowing and lending. They have the swap, the rune swap, and now they have staking. You can stake Billy Cats, you can stake rune stones, and you can stake some other stuff coming soon. If you have a fluid pass because you were smart enough to do a swap and you got that, you'll be able to stake that and earn Bitcoin for the first month, and then the FLDT token, which will be a rune coming soon, guys. It's going to be good. Check out fluidtokens.com. And then Verothium DEX, they're going to be the leading DEX on Merlin. So check them out. In my opinion, they're the staking of the BRC 420s, and they're going to be doing stuff with bitmap.game. I don't know if I was allowed to say that yet, but look out for Verothium. And then Foxy. Obviously, if you want a Bitminer, you can go to mscribe right now. You can get yourself a Bitminer. If you're lucky enough to get one of the cosmics, you are going to be earning USDT for the first 14 days, and then a lot of other cool stuff, the TAP token, the BitFoxy token, and a lot more. So check out all of our partners, guys. It really helps the show. If you guys need a VPN, we have one in the show notes. Get 70% off using our NordVPN link. That'll take you to Nord, and that helps the show as well. And if you wouldn't mind checking out the ordinalrevolution.com, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone just entering the ordinal space, send them our website, ordinalrevolution.com, and you can really get them caught up very quickly. And you're looking for merch, we have some of the best merch there, so check that out as well. And if you're going to Bitcoin Las Vegas, we will be there. Ordinal Revolution will be there. It's going to be fun. But we do have a percentage coupon off on the website. And do not wait. They get really expensive. So do not wait, guys. Get them as soon as possible. Bitcoin in Vegas will be in May. So check that out. And thank you guys so much for always rocking with us. We'll be back tomorrow. And until then, in the words of Yagobi, peace.
We OG, or no G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the or no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to Olo, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the or no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to Olo. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Runes is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, is my guy for real, bro? Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, lock it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nookie on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. Started Satoshi's nothing above me.